Welcome to the Fit 15 podcast show, where you'll find health and fitness inspiration, motivation, and information shared in 15-minute episodes. Tune in while getting a move on to make leading and enjoying the benefits of a healthy lifestyle almost too easy. It's the Fit 15. And now your host, Catherine Basu.
Welcome to the Fit 15 podcast show. I'm your host, Catherine Basu, and I'm really excited to share today's episode with you. It's one I recorded several months back, but was holding off on releasing until this week, the week before the LA Marathon, because my guest ran the LA Marathon as her first marathon. So she's going to share her running journey with you and her marathon journey with you, and I thought it would be really fun to have her share that as some of you may be listening and preparing for your first marathon, your first LA Marathon perhaps. So really excited to share the episode with you today. Before I dive into the episode and share our conversation, I wanted to let you know that I have broken up the interview I did with Vanessa Kerner, my guest, into 2 episodes. Today we'll focus on Vanessa's marathon journey, and then tomorrow, if you subscribe, you'll be reminded to tune in when that episode goes live. You'll get to hear about some of the fun challenges that Vanessa has taken on for herself to keep her running motivation. So I hope you'll tune in for that after enjoying and getting inspired by her marathon journey today. So who is Vanessa Kerner? Vanessa is a 46-year-old mother of 4. She was born in London and then lived in New York City for 6 years with her husband, who is from New York City. They then moved to London for 5 years in 2002, and then in 2007 moved with the family to Los Angeles. She experimented with running in 2003, but stopped after a short while, and then started again in 2009 when she decided to run the LA Marathon that year. So welcome to the podcast, Vanessa. I'm so excited to have you as my guest today.
Nice to be on your show. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so you and I get to participate in this awesome running series we have here in Southern California. That's a nice community feel, and I thought, you're very inspiring, being out there all the time, and get you to inspire other runners by sharing your story. So you've run a few marathons. What inspired you to actually get out there and run your first marathon? Maybe to start us out.
Well, to be honest, to run my first marathon was purely out of being competitive with my husband.
Oh, I love it.
He had signed up for the LA Marathon in 2009, and I thought, well, if he can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
And I'd run a few times. We were living in London. I'd run a few 5Ks and 10Ks and nothing serious. And then we moved to Los Angeles, and again, stopped and start, but never really took much interest in it. And then his mother had been a great marathoner, New York Marathon, had qualified for Boston. So it was always on the horizon. Yeah. So when I overheard him on a phone call, him saying, I think I'm going to run the LA Marathon, I thought, well, if he can do it, I can do it. And this was when they had, for some reason, it was originally in February, and they had moved it to May of that year.
Oh, wow.
And so I thought, well, I've got time now. Now they've changed the date. And I think I literally had about 8 weeks of running, and that was it.
Oh, jeez.
And so that was my inspiration to run my first marathon, just to be competitive. And, of course, he beat me by, I don't know, he was a sub-6. I was like 6'10", 6'15". But I finished.
Yeah, especially with that short training.
Yes, right. And I had no clue. I think sometimes, being ignorant helps, because you're like, okay, it's 26.2, okay. And so I a lot of walking and I can't believe I'm doing this, and never again. And I can't believe he didn't run with me. And then you cross that finish line, and, you've had that feeling. You just, it's indescribable. It's just, wow, I did it. You're very emotional. I cried a little and couldn't walk, walked to the car, was just, oh my God. And it was, you always hear about people saying, I'm never doing it again. But the first thought was, when do I get to do that again?
Right.
And I think that from then on I was hooked, and I I couldn't walk for 2 weeks after that. It was just, the legs couldn't, but it was that was my first marathon, and I was hooked. That was it. That was my journey.
Yeah, I love that. So did you run, you didn't run in 2010, but then you ran LA again the following year?
Yes. So I got pregnant
Okay.
and had my fourth child in 2010.
Mm-hmm.
So although, having said that, I have seen women pregnant running.
Yep.
You know, not heavily pregnant, but you could definitely see they're pregnant. And I'm very impressed. I don't think I could do it. But, you know, and I think you have to have had many years of continual training and running to be able to do that. And I hadn't had that. But so then I didn't run in 2010, ran 2011 in the pouring rain. This was the LA Marathon that was just torrential rain. And I was even slower. So I hadn't learned my lesson about training.
Oh, no.
But it was still, I'm doing it, it's there. And this was the first time when it was from from Dodger Stadium to the sea.
Oh,
so
okay.
The previous marathon at LA was sort of, an out and back kind of thing.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And in downtown, you go round downtown. So this was the first one when they changed it from Dodger Stadium, and you run through all of LA, and you end up in Santa Monica, and pouring rain. And again, my husband beat me I was even slower. He beat me, and I thought I'd trained a little, but I hadn't, obviously, and still did it and still finished. And I think the hardest part of that marathon was actually walking from the finish line to the car. It was about 3/4 of a mile to the car, and it's torrential rain. Nobody's there. There's no finish line party because it's just, everyone's gone. You're just going straight to the car. They had heating buses, warming buses, but I didn't need them. My car's there.
Yeah.
Gonna go. So that was 2011. But I kept running. I think I didn't do 13 and 14. I stopped. I think 12 and 13 I stopped and started again in 14. And I've done every LA marathon since then. So.
Oh, cool. Very cool.
Hashtag LA loyal, as they say. This is their new promotion. So, LA loyal.
Hi, friends. It's Catherine. And if you are using the episode to get in an out and back walk and only have 15 minutes, that sound was your halfway point reminder. You'll want to turn around now. All right, back to Vanessa.
And then, and I started running and I thought, well, I'll do other marathons and half marathons. And that's my thing now.
Yeah. So you had a time you did a few triathlons. I mean, would you go back to that, or any notes on that experience? Because I don't think I had an experience 2 weekends ago. I went for a bike ride and I fell off my bike, like getting off the bike to not go over a speed bump. So I'm like, I'm really not cut out for, I don't think, for triathlon.
Yeah. Well, this is actually how I got back into marathon running, because I don't know how I got into triathlons, but I just thought, Ironman, just randomly, Ironman, Mm-hmm. So I thought, well, let's start doing the triathlons, and I got a bike, not particularly expensive bike, and I was just very slow on the bike. And it's, like anything, you just have to put in the miles, seat in the saddle, same with the running. Just the more you run, slowly, the faster you'll get, the fitter you get. Mm-hmm. And the same, obviously with the swimming. But I didn't like riding, and still don't, on the road. So we have the bike paths. Yeah. And the Bayona Creek, which is, a road that leads to the bike path. And I would just do that. Yeah. And so, I would just put miles in, and I thought, well, okay, I got to start running, So that's what I got back into the marathon. I thought, well, I have to train for that. And I wasn't getting faster with the biking. And so I did some sprint distances. I couldn't even manage an Olympic distance. And I was always one of the last people to come out of the water. Sure. And I was always one of the last people to finish the bike portion. But I would catch people up on the run, So that was why I also enjoy triathlons, because it's not really when you start, it's when you finish. People, it's always like in legs. And so I really would love one day to do an Ironman, but I think it's a pipe dream at the moment. But I did enjoy it. I mean, I had the wetsuit. It's a lot of equipment. This is the thing.
Yeah.
And it's not cheap. And, I once, my longest ride was 30 miles. And I think I went from, I don't know, I can't, Ballona Creek all the way to Redondo in Culver City. If anyone can look at it, all the way to Redondo and then just turn back around. And it was 30 miles or something. And I was slower than like a professional marathon. People can run marathons faster than I biked 35 miles. And I thought, this may not be the sport for me. So I was just, no. But, so and you would see people whizzing by, all the bikers, they're really, intense and really good. And so maybe one day, but that's what got me back into running, because I thought, well, to do a triathlon, you need a plan. And so I would follow the brick plan and then ultimately the marathon plan. I thought, well, why don't I just follow a marathon plan?
Yeah.
And that's what led me to my first proper marathon, where I had trained. I did I did a training plan. Mm-hmm. I followed every single request that they said, do the tempo run, do a hill training, just do easy mile. I didn't necessarily do it in the right order. So I did do it when I could fit it in. I wasn't strict on that, but I challenged myself to do it was a 16-week plan to do and tick off every single training session. And I ended up with a 4:15 marathon, which was, I had previously done like 4:30 I'd gotten down, but 4:15. And I was not, or maybe even 4:40. It was a big jump in my PR. And I was expecting like 4:30. So there's nothing like running and you think, oh, okay, this is a little faster than 4:30. So, and that was the, the result of being able to do, you follow a plan and you do it right. And that's what kept me going. Is like, I can run faster. I can. Yeah. And then of course, you get the elusive target of, well, can I do a sub-4 marathon? Right. And then it was, and of course, which I've not gotten yet, is the elusive Boston qualifier, which is
right.
This is what everyone, well, I don't know, people want is and now they've made it even harder to get.
I know.
I was like, too closer to, I need a 3:55. Now I need a 3:50. So,
okay. So you're, yeah.
It's just, it's there, but I don't know. Maybe I'm waiting to get older and it'll be, can be a bit slower. That's the beauty of getting older with running, is you age up.
This is true, right? Yeah, we can't be too worried about our ages that way.
Right. So, well, if I'm going to reach a milestone in age, I hopefully will be in that. Now I'm the fastest in my age group. And, but it's, so that's my marathon story, basically.
I love that. So here's like the most serious question about that whole story. Did you ever beat your husband in the marathon or beat his time?
Well, I did. Thank you for asking. Very easily. Thank you. Yes, I did. So he pretty much stopped running. He did 3. He got lucky enough to do 3 New York marathons and 3 LA marathons. So he's done 6 marathons in all. But I can't remember his last one. I can't remember his. He beat me for 2 of the LAs. Maybe I beat him for the 3rd one. I think I did. But yeah, he hasn't done, God bless him, a sub-5. So I know for sure, so he's, yes, I did beat him in that.
I mean, not that it really matters, but that was your,
that was it. It helped, yeah. I'm very competitive and mainly with myself, I mean, that's again, the beauty of marathoning is like, you think, and even triathloning, you think I can catch them up, but you don't really know when they started. Right. It's all tip time and you could cross the finish line at the same time, but they could be either 10 minutes ahead or 10 minutes behind. So, you can be competitive with someone on the run to keep you motivated. Let me see if I can catch that person in the blue shirt, in the green shirt to keep you going. Yep. But ultimately for me, I'm just competitive with myself. It's like, can I do this? Can I get faster? Can I get fitter?
Oh, that's awesome.
Sometimes not. You don't win them all.
Yeah. You can't always get a PR. You can't.
Right. But I always finish. And that again goes back to the original, is that just crossing that finish line is just, it's a really good personal feeling, and it's a special feeling. You've done it, no one else has done it for you, or, it's a good one.
Hi friends, it's Catherine, and if what Vanessa just shared doesn't give you goosebumps, you might not be a marathoner yet. But if it doesn't get you curious about potentially becoming a marathoner, I don't know what will. You might have to just go out and watch the LA Marathon or the Boston Marathon coming up next month, or the London Marathon also coming up next month, or some other marathon near you. I hope you feel inspired. You don't have to run a marathon, though, to have that feeling, and Vanessa and I will talk about that more tomorrow, and also some of the fun ways Vanessa has been keeping her running motivation as she continues to work towards her big personal marathon goal of qualifying for the Boston Marathon. So I hope you'll join us for that and get more inspiration from Vanessa. So you don't forget to tune back in tomorrow. Make sure you subscribe to the show. If you enjoy the show and enjoyed this episode, be sure to leave us a rating and review wherever you listen to podcasts. Share the episode with a friend who would find this episode helpful. And maybe in the meantime, go and follow Vanessa. She is happyrunning_26.2 on Instagram and Van K on Strava. All right, friends, that's it for me. I look forward to sharing the rest of my conversation with Vanessa with you tomorrow.
Thanks for listening to the Fit 15. For show notes and more, visit fitarmadillo.com/podcast. See you next time.